It'll be 1 to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy. Coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, go, go. Dig, dig, dig. Go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Ryan.
Randy Pemberton, NASCAR Hot Pass. Doing this sport over the course of the years, you kind of as a young man, where do you place him among the greats with the 81 wins and all that?
Yeah, I told Jeff that he and I are the same with the exception of 4 championships, 50 wins, and 70 poles. Other than that, we've done everything the same. You know, I think Jeff, and this is going to sound silly, I think Jeff's one of the most underrated drivers our sport's ever seen. When we talk about the greats of our sport, his name doesn't seem to come up. And I think that's because he didn't do it in the way that Dale Earnhardt did it. You know, Dale just got him a handful of wheel, and whatever happened to be around him got knocked out of the way. And, you know, he just was real aggressive and won championships like that. Jeff's won championships, much more of finessed championships. But I think that you know, the facts are the facts, and Jeff's ability to be successful in this sport for a long time, I mean, you know, I think it kind of speaks for itself. But I think that drivers that are in the era of another driver don't give that driver as much respect, because, you know, it's easy for me to sit here and say how great Richard Petty was because I never had to race against him. And I think drivers have a hard time saying, you know what, that guy might be better than me. And so people that are in an era, they don't give the credit due. And I think that's human nature. But, you know, Jeff Gordon is one of the best that our sport has ever seen. You know, poles, lap sled, what category, you know, is he not one of the best? And I think that speaks for itself.
Ed
Hinton, ESPN.com. Jeff, kind of on the same vein as with Jeff Gordon, when you hear people in driver introductions booing Jimmy Johnson and maybe think he's a California guy outside of just knowing him around the garage, the way he races on the racetrack, do you think if people really knew him, they wouldn't boo him as much, or would they boo him more than ever? Or, and also, could you talk about him and, like, is he there yet as far as Jeff Gordon is concerned? Has he still got a ways to go when you talk about the greats of the sport, or has he got a ways to go?
Well, I don't. You know, he certainly, you know, if he's able to win more championships and win more races and those kind of things, I mean, you certainly have to say that he is. One of the great things about sports is that you don't have to know somebody to cheer against them. And the more good things I hear about teams that I don't like, the more frustrating it becomes. I don't want to hear the good things about them because it's a whole lot more fun to pull against them. That's part of what sports is all about. Is, you know, if we don't have fans in the stands willing to boo people, then we have nothing. You know, it takes passion, and if you're a Mark Martin fan, well, Jimmy Johnson's standing in the way of Mark Martin winning. So if you're a Mark Martin fan, well, why pull for Jimmy Johnson? I mean, that's what makes it work. That's why people buy T-shirts, and that's why they come to the race, because they want to see their man win. And you know, when somebody's preventing their man from winning, boo the hell out of them. I mean, that's what makes it work. And I think Jimmy would say the same thing. I mean, it's not a personal – when people boo you, you know, most of the time it's not a personal, you know, you didn't treat my mother correctly kind of a thing. It's, I don't like you because I like that guy. I mean, that's really what it's about, and that works.
Jim Noble, Fox Sports Net. By whatever measuring stick you measure success by, whether at the beginning of the year or the beginning of the chase, has this been a successful season for you and the team?
Well, I think it's been a successful season. We had 2 primary goals, and and these are really vague goals, but we had two primary goals going into the year. The first goal was to make the chase, and the second goal was obviously to win the championship. And more importantly, be in position going into Homestead with a chance to win the championship. That was, those were the two goals that we set out for ourselves. The year's not over yet, so I can't tell you how successful a year it is. But I can tell you that I'm not disappointed in the year. I'm disappointed about some things in the year, but I'm not disappointed at this point in what we've been able to do. Clearly, winning the championship means that it's a whole lot more successful, and finishing third means it's a whole lot more successful than being ninth. So, I know we're all trying to get over the year here, but we still got a lot of work to do. I mean, there's still 3 races left to go, and a lot of stuff happens in 3 races. So I can't tell you how successful it is because it's not done yet. And I really judge our deal as long as we're putting the effort in and we got the right dedication and we're doing all those things correctly. Then it turns into what are the results.
Okay, we got Dustin, David Caravello, and back over to Bruce.
Dustin Long, Landmark Newspapers. Jeff, when you moved over to Childress in 04, it was just before you saw a lot of driver movements in the sense of guys in the top 20 moving around. Then 05, things went crazy. A couple former champions moved around. Guys were signing contracts for 07, things like that, and so forth. And I want to ask you a couple things about that is, thinking offhand, I can't think of too many guys. Kyle turned things around at Gibbs this year. You did it over a longer period of time at Childress. But how difficult is it for a driver to come into a team? Because if you're making a change, obviously a team's not doing well, to do that. And secondly, I think right now we're seeing more drivers who are signing contract extensions as opposed to movement. Is that just simple economy, or is there some more that we should look out of this turning tide?
Well, I think a couple things are happening. I think the economy has an impact on what drivers are able to do and what car owners from other teams are offering. I believe that drivers can have an impact on the teams fairly quickly, assuming that the team that they're going to, they're welcomed. I know that sounds silly, but there are some situations where a driver's named and the team doesn't embrace them. So the driver has to embrace the team has to embrace the driver. You have to be willing to go to battle together immediately. If you do, then you can have an impact fairly quickly. This is a drivers are looking, I think, more so today than they were 10 years ago, understanding that there's a small window, and they're really very much more. It's much harder to build something up today than it was 15 years ago, because you combat. If you're going to go do it better than Hendrick, you have to beat all 4 of those cars. 15 years ago, if you were going to do it better than Robert Yates, they had 1 car. So it's a much bigger hill to climb today. And so I think drivers are looking more closely at what organization do we want to be with, and that has a huge bearing on the decisions that are being made, without a doubt.